Abba, happy holidays. Welcome back to Diane's channel. Now remember I told you that there was a place that I saw on YouTube, content coming out from one of the YouTubers. And I said to myself back in 2020, when I come to Ghana, I must go to that place. In front of me, we have this gentleman. His name is Kwab. Where is Dianes? Dianes is at Ike's Cafe and Grill. And guys, I'm late, so I'm hoping to capture and probably show you this place sometime next week. Hoping. Let's see if Kwab will allow me when I'm through. But the driver dropped me because I had to come here and dine. And I said to the waiter, the server, is the general manager here? He says, yes, he is. I said, could you please tell him that there's a Jamaican here all the way from Jamaica and would love to have a word with him. And guys, I'm telling you, and this is what is fantastic. Here is Kwab, the CEO. His mom is affectionately called Queen. And so, Kwab, welcome to Diane's channel. I am very thankful that you have agreed at this time of the night to have a little natter with me. And we're going to roll because it's unscripted, unfiltered, and unedited. And you said you're okay with that, exactly. Right? So, Kwab, tell me a little about yourself. All I know is you lived in the States. So I need to know if you were born in the United States or you were born in Ghana. Where were you born?
I was born in Atlanta, Georgia.
Ah. How long did you live in Atlanta, Georgia?
I lived in Atlanta, Georgia, basically my whole entire life. I'm 35 years old now.
Millennial?
So I've just been, living there, went to school in Mississippi, went to University of Mississippi, graduated from there. We opened up I worked at a tropical store, which was my dad's. He opened it about 25 years ago. When I decided to come to help him out to make it a little bit more modernized. From there, we were able to build Ike's Cafe and Grill, located in Norcross, Georgia, which is Metro Atlanta. And 4 years later, we built Ike's Cafe and Grill.
So Ike's started out in Atlanta,
exactly.
Georgia.
Exactly.
And what year did you decide to take it to Ghana?
So since this is raw and unfiltered, I'm bad with exact dates, but we're on our 5th year anniversary.
Wow.
Which is this year.
Wow.
And we're on our 9th year anniversary in Atlanta right now, and it's December 21st is always our anniversary. So that's about, was it 3 days? Well, 3 days back, I guess. And so we're here now.
Awesome. No, this is a large property. Can you tell me how many acres you're nestled on?
Again, I'm bad with numbers, but it's I would say it's at least like maybe 20 acres.
It's massive.
Yeah.
It's very large. Yes, because you also have accommodations here.
Exactly.
And I found out that you're fully booked. Yeah. Congratulations to being fully booked. If anybody goes online and wants to stay here, they can't. They just can't. So that is fantastic. So tell me about your cafe here, right? You're CEO. Yes. You're 35 years old. How long have you been CEO here running the operations?
Okay, so for about 5 years in Ike's Cafe and Grill here, but about, let's say, 9 years in Atlanta. So the location here, we started about 5 years ago, and really, to be honest with you, it was just basically hand to mouth at the very beginning of it. Doing basic things like, I was the one helping to teach everybody how to say hi to a customer, teaching them to say, how to greet, because, there's customer service is different. Sometimes the standard we have in the United States and the standard that we have in also the motherland sometimes is a little bit different. So it's kind of bringing the best of both cultures together to make Ike's Cafe and Grill, and our motto is culture at its best. So.
Culture at its best.
Yes.
I love it. But Kwab, at 35,
Yes.
you're young, and I'm trying to do the maths here, right?
Yes.
I'm not the best maths person, but I just started to go backwards. 9 years in Atlanta, where Ike was born.
Yes.
5 years here, continent of Africa, destination Ghana.
Yes.
We're talking, you're in this game from 21. In your 20s, you have been in the family business.
Exactly. Which is, I'll tell you a funny story, right? I remember I was sitting there working at the grocery store after graduating college and things like that. And I remember one of my ex-girlfriends, she came to the store at that time, and she saw me, she said, "Man, you're still, after going all this university and stuff like that, you ended up back working at the store," which, working in the family business wasn't necessarily the best thing. But funny enough, like, let's say 15 years later, you know what I mean? It seems to be the best decision that I've ever made. And most of my friends that went to university for a long period of time, now they're trying to open up their own businesses. So I think about it, and I'm like, wow, they were ahead of me in a race, but now it seems as if it was a marathon, not a race. So
absolutely. And this is impressive, I'm telling you. 35 years old, in the hospitality business, service oriented, for, this is crazy, over a decade. Yes? You are an inspiration to someone. Yes? Now you're living here in Ghana. How do you feel about, because of course you're born in the States, right? So you're living in Ghana far less than you were in the States. How do you feel? How has the transition been? Yes, it's a family business here, but culturally, yes, how do you feel? Do you see yourself remaining here as CEO for the next 5 years and beyond?
Oh, yes, definitely. I think that anywhere you are in life, there are pros and cons. And coming here, at first there was adjustments you have to make, right? You're not going to be able to get maybe all the clothes as fast as you readily would want it to get, or maybe when the new iPhone comes out, you have to find a way to get it and things like that. But as far as when I tell you that on a day-to-day basis, I feel like less stress. I feel like even in the United States, right? Even when you're making lots and lots of money, you're still afraid of something. It's like there's some type of cloud above you, and you don't really know, because you're like, oh, you're making too much money. The IRS is gonna come and get you. You know what I mean? Well, you're doing this. There's always something that's like you get pulled over. You're afraid that, hey, this might happen to you, this might happen to you. But when you come home, there's a sense of just like ease, and things come easy. When I meet a police officer, we tell a joke. You know what I mean? And how friendly they are and things like that. And so those are the things that I feel were a little bit different for me. Mm-hmm. But I think that like once you get here, you actually start getting on ground, and you forget about your expectations in the United States or wherever you're from, and you're like, hey, let me just go with the flow. Because one thing I also wanted to tell everybody is that my mom, I remember one day we were driving in a car, and we had just came from the United States, and we were driving, and we saw some people on the side of the street, and they were, laughing, and, and it was a stressful day for me and my mom, but they were laughing and, gallivanting and having so much fun. And what brought it to our attention was that, wait, these people, they have far less, but they're actually happy, you know what I mean? And we're sitting in a nice car, you know what I mean? Stressed out, head banging and things like that. So it just goes to show you that, even when you come to Ghana, even with barely, like, literally nothing, you still find a way to have fun. You still find a way to enjoy yourself.
And a bit of peace.
Exactly.
Not much anxiety.
Exactly.
And panic attacks. Mm-hmm. So tell me, Kwab, you were born to both Ghanaian parents?
Yes.
Okay. So that's good. And you speak the language?
I speak the language. It's say.
Boko? That's it? Or AA? I'm learning. I'm trying.
You're good.
So what I am pleased about is that I feel the Christmas spirit, as we say in Jamaica. I noticed you have your workers around decked out in the caps, the red and white caps.
Oh yeah.
And I was told that you're having karaoke,
Yeah.
and the place is quite packed.
Yeah.
So, how has business been in this cafe for such? It's large, and maintaining this club,
Yeah.
it must be a handful. And just the walk that we did
Yes.
getting here, I'm like, wow, there's a lot of things going on in each section. Tell me, what else do you do here, or do you just serve patrons coming in, or do you also offer catering outside?
Yes, we do a lot. We have catering services. We even have we have a catering event at the Menchia Palace, which is the palace of the king, Asante King, and we're doing that. I think on the 26th, which I think well on next Tuesday, basically. We do everything from the hospitality side of with the hotel because everything kind of goes hand in hand. Music, hospitality, food, just making you feel like you're at home. That's what I always feel like we're in the business and what we're in the business of. And to be honest with you, any advice that I would give anybody, especially doing any business in Africa or doing any business anywhere, it's just, and it's what my dad always taught me, you just focus. You know what I mean? I came here, coming here, there's a lot of distractions, whether it's beautiful women, whether it's, drinks that you can drink anywhere. Everywhere you walk, there's somebody selling meat on the side of the road and things like that. But one thing I realize is that when you come, just focus on what you really want to do. And once you do that, things start to become successful. And so I've taught a lot of, one of the greatest stories that I think that we have here is not about us, but some of the employees and some of the life-changing events that we've kind of been able to, help them to achieve. Some of them have gotten jobs elsewhere, they're at higher positions and, they've got life-changing lessons, just from working at so this place is more of a university and a family-like atmosphere more than anything, so.
Kwab, that's, you gave a lot in what you said, and it brings me, you're leading me right into this. What would you say to someone out there in their 30s or in their 30s and over?
Yes.
You are a businessman. You are the CEO for IKE'S Cafe and Grill. You mentioned about it being a university. You mentioned about you involved in even training your staff. Since I've been here, I've heard, persons will say, oh, customer service is not to what they are accustomed to or they would like. But you mentioning university, that means, would you say to the audience that you are prepared to, part of adding value is where you see a perceived lack to you, then adding value, you train.
Exactly.
If this is the industry that you want to be a part of, or in fact any business you're doing as a business owner, with that I've just outlined, yes, what would you say to such a person? The pros and the cons, the negatives, the positives, which one far outweighs the other for you? And the final few words you would say to them.
Okay. I mean, I would like to say that, I think that my experience here, at least for me, is very unique in the sense that, it's not just me. I have, my mom, my dad, they're all supporting me. My brother and my sister will also come from time to time to help with the training and things like that. And, we even have an exchange program that we're doing just to be able to teach and better help people and give them a life experience that they never had before, which is basically letting some of the employees from America come here and experience what the culture and everything like that is like, and letting people from some of our employees that are also here locally get to go to our location in Norcross, Georgia, and also experience that. And just to see that smile on their face when you find out that, hey, you're the one who's been selected, is worth more than anything. Because some people maybe even written off by their parents, by their family members, and through hard work and determination, they're getting opportunities that they never dreamed of having. So I would say that those are the pros. The cons is that it's challenging. Like maybe today you might come and the person that that served you. It might not go well. You might go on, on Yelp or another thing and write something bad about. Sometimes I won't lie, being an owner and knowing how much effort you're putting in, it hurts when you see things like that. But you have to have tough skin in this business, and
Correct.
I mean, even content that you're making right now, somebody's gonna probably write, "Hey, you should have done this," or "You should have done that," but
Correct.
that should never break you. And so I think with that being the cons and having those pros, of course, the pros outweigh the cons.
Excellent. And sorry.
No, and I was gonna say also, thank you so much for the opportunity. I really appreciate, because there's a lot of people that they come to a place, they appreciate it, but they don't also take the time to say, hey, I'm gonna let everybody else know about this too, and that's worth more than $2 to $3 million.
Oh, thank you so much, Kwab. Thank you. Because my channel is a sharing channel. That's what I say, and that's my way of sowing seeds and leaving my footprints everywhere that I go thus far in Ghana. Closing out, is it Africa now, destination Ghana, yes, or the future? What would you say?
I would say now. Let me explain why. I had a conversation with my dad, and he was like, we kind of had two mindsets about it. And he was like, okay, in the future, and I was like, technically, if you don't become a stakeholder now, in the future, it might be very difficult for you. So sometimes I was telling somebody, you're able to save a little bit of money. There's so many lands for whatever price, you know what I mean, that you can get. Get a hold of it now. Within 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, you have a footprint. You're here. But what happens is that if you're saying, oh, in the future, you'll by the time that somebody else is going to become smarter, come and purchase it, and you'll be having to come just to rent a piece of that land. So I would, I'm telling you now, and a gem that we're all sharing, come now. Just get a piece of the pie. You'll guarantee that you're gonna love it and enjoy it, and it's home.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Kwab. I totally appreciate this. And guys, I'm very, very, very hungry. I'm going to go out and eat now. So please share, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Thank you. Merasi. God bless.